Hi everybody, I hope you're having a grand old time in San Diego. I, on the other hand, am attending a wedding, and if it's anything like most weddings, no matter what day you're actually watching this, I'll probably still be sitting in the reception, looking at my watch, listening to some really bad DJ saying, "Put your hands together," for about the 20th time, just wishing I could go home. But hey, I digress. Julian has asked me to describe my field testing of the Apple iPad as an evaluation and a presentation tool. Now, I've been using the iPad for about 6 months, and I can't say enough about it. If you're a gadget freak like me, you're probably looking for an excuse to buy one anyway, so let's call what I'm saying permission to buy one. And for those of you who are a little less tech happy, let me tell you that this device will not only save you time, you'll never lose another set of notes you've done at an evaluation. It'll also help you answer any customer questions that may come up during an evaluation with photos or video. The iPad takes the place of a pad and pencil, a photo binder, a DVD player, and a laptop. It's always on, and you can switch from one form of media to another in a few seconds. Now, the iPad is not a computer in the traditional sense of the word. You'll never be able to run your business from it, for example. Probably anyway. But you will be able to do a lot with it. As you probably know, the iPad can be loaded with apps, which are essentially mini applications. An app takes up very little memory, and they only cost a few dollars. In fact, some of the apps I use are free. Since the apps only do one or two things, they do those things very quickly. Let's start with evaluations, since that's my primary usage of the machine. On the desktop, you'll see folders just like on your desktop machine, as well as individual apps. You can create your own folders as I've done here. So here's the evaluations folder. When I open it, I see 9 applications that I use for evaluations. The truth of the matter is I only use 3 or 4 of them, but as I keep researching the App Store, I try apps that look like they might meet my needs. The one that I use most often is Numbers. This is the Apple version of Excel. This happens to be the most expensive app I have. I think it was $7 or $8. With Numbers, I've created a template that will basically do all the work for you after you've entered all the basic site information. As you can see here, and you can do this by the way, it's called pinching, I think. Those of you with an iPhone are familiar with the capability. It expands the view so it's easier for you to see what you want, like this. Here are the instructions for the whole sheet. All you have to do is fill in all the blue boxes and the program computes the rest. There are 2 tabs on the sheet, one for 31-inch material and one for 36-inch material. The only difference is the 31-inch estimate is based on $125 per foot of material and $750 per platform, and the 36-inch estimate is based on $150 per foot and $900 per platform. So it'll give you kind of a soft estimate right there in the field for a sale and an exact number for a rental, since you're in control of what you're actually charging for rentals. In the notes area down below, you enter a text description of the ramp for the estimating department and anything else you might want to remember. So, for example, this particular ramp was a 4-foot ramp to a 4x4, a left turn to a 6-foot, a 6-foot, and a bottom plate. And then I added a note for myself to add a 3-foot suitcase ramp to the estimate and the customer's email address. Now, getting back to the rest of the spreadsheet, this is where you add the site data. The door width, which side of the door the hinge is on, the first step down onto the porch, the depth of the porch going forward, and then as many as 7 risers. Down below, you'll see that it calculates the starting elevation. You enter the final elevation here, and then depending on the individual ramp elements you enter in the parts area, the spreadsheet calculates your slope. Once you've entered the parts, your rental rate, and your labor charges, the spreadsheet then gives you your bottom line results here. The cell number, including parts, estimated freight and labor is $35.75. The rental number is $276 per month, and the first month's payment, including all labor, is $11.26. Then I take this, and with this little icon here, I can email it right from the Numbers app. The first thing I do is select what format I want to send, and I always select PDF. The email screen comes up, and I send it to Connor, and I copy myself. So when I return to the office, I have the completed site data waiting to file or print out. I simply hit send and out it goes. Sometimes I simply use something called Adobe Ideas, and this is free, by the way. And with this one, you draw right on the screen, either with a stylus that you buy separately or with your finger. You create a new drawing just like this. Typically, I use this app if there's a big variation in the property elevation or if the legs on the platforms are different. So I draw the layout of the ramp, indicate the ramp sections that I need, and the leg measurements. I know some of you may be used to supplying much more information to Connor and his group, but with rare exception, this is all I send in, and I have yet to have any problem with any of the evaluations I get back from Boston. Once I've finished the drawing, I put the name and the city on it, and then simply email it, once again, right from the program. With Adobe Ideas, the default name for the PDF is always My Idea, so I always change that here in the subject line. Send it to Connor, and send a copy to me. As we go back to the main screen, another thing that the iPad comes in handy for is when people have questions about the ramp. What is it going to look like? Or what's it made out of? Instead of lugging around the photo binder and looking for a table to lay it on, you can just load a bunch of ramp pictures on the device and show them. I happen to have a few folders with pictures on the device, but this is the one I use most. It's called Ramps, and when you touch the icon, you see all the pictures, and you can show them individually, or you can run a slideshow. And not only does it advance the photos automatically, but if you want to stop the show to point something out, you simply touch the screen and then advance manually by dragging your finger across the screen. Of course, another thing you might want to use and have loaded on your machine is video. Here's the video app. Touch it and it presents all the videos available on the device. Here we have Our Customers Speak. This is the testimonial video. Touch the button and the video plays. This, of course, is useful not only for an evaluation, but also for a quick in-service or at a trade show. As I said earlier, the iPad is always on, and everything is always at your fingertips. It presents a very different sales dynamic. Can you do all this on a laptop? Sure, but it's difficult to stand and present with a laptop. And once you have to clear a kitchen table and boot a laptop and then go through all the menus to find what you need, you've lost valuable time. The almost random access nature of the iPad enables you to answer a question almost immediately, either with a photo or a video. Now, the iPad comes in a few different configurations, and before long there will probably be an iPad 2 with a bunch of different features. For example, this iPad doesn't have a camera, although that's not been an issue for me. This is the cheapest version of the device with 16 gigs of memory and Wi-Fi and 3G. The battery lasts for 10 hours. I had Sean set up a special email box just for the device, so I never get incoming email on it, which would eat into that available memory. I only use the mail function for sending evals to Boston. So with all the apps I have on here and the photos and the videos, there's still loads of space for more stuff. It costs $4.99, and the minimum data plan with AT&T is $14.99 per month. If you have any other questions about how I use the iPad, give me a call. And thanks for your rapt attention. Now get back to the bar and have one of those fancy mixed drinks.